Somos almas hambrientas buscando un espacio. Desplieguen sus alas, mis calos y calas. Este arte, imposible no amarte. Imposible no amarte.
Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome again to Stare Art. Let's continue reading this wonderful, fascinating book about Marilyn Monroe in her own words. Now we gonna know a little bit more of her acting phase moment. Marilyn was always eager to be in the public eye. It's better for the whole world to know you, even as a sex star, than never be known at all. If I'm that famous, I'll get the good parts soon enough. I'm not going to kill myself trying to rush it. Acting was something golden and beautiful. It wasn't an art. It was like a game you played that enabled you to step out of the dull world you knew into worlds so broad they made your heart leap just to think of them. When I was younger, I used to go to Grumman's Chinese Theater and try to feed my food in the prints in the cement there. And I'd say, oh, my food's too big. I guess that's out. I did have a funny feeling later when I finally put my foot down into that wet cement. I sure knew what it really meant to me. Anything's possible. Almost. Acting isn't something you do. Instead of doing it, it occurs. If you're going to start with logic, you might as well give up. You can have conscious preparation, but you must have unconscious results. Joe DiMaggio wanted Marilyn to forget about acting altogether. He loved her for herself and wanted her to be his wife full time. He was a rich man and she didn't need a career to support herself, but despite Joe's attitude, Marilyn was as determined as ever. He didn't believe that I had any talent to fall back on. That scared me to death. I wanted a career, and even though I couldn't act then, I wanted to learn. He thought I was the best woman there was, but he never believed I could act. Besides, Joe said that even if I could act like Bette Davis, the studios still wouldn't give me the parts I wanted. You're trapped as a dumb blonde. That's it, he said. Well, I wanted to prove myself to him and to me. I had always been nothing, a nobody. Then I had a chance to be somebody. I couldn't give it up, just when things were looking good for me. Not just to be a housewife, and even Joe's housewife. I had to see if I could be a success on my own. That's that was then. Now when I talk to Joe and tell him what I'm going through, he just says, I told you. And I keep thinking that he wasn't wrong. But honest, I love being a star. After all I've been through, I won't quit now. You don't have to know anything to dream hard. I knew nothing about acting. I had never read a book about it, or tried to do it, or discussed it with anyone. I was ashamed to tell the few people I knew of what I was dreaming. Studio bosses are jealous of their power. They are like political bosses. They want to pick out their own candidate for public office. They don't want the public rising up and dumping a girl in their laps and saying, make her a star. There were dozens of us on the set, bit players with a gesture to make and a line of two to recite. Some of them were veteran bit players. After 10 years in the movies, they were still saying one line and walking 10 feet towards nowhere. A few were young and had nice bosoms, but I knew they were different from me. They didn't have any illusion. They didn't have my illusions. My illusions didn't have anything to do with being a fine actress. I knew how third rate I was. I could actually feel my lack of talent, as if it were cheap clothes I was wearing inside. But my God, had I wanted to learn, to change, to improve, I didn't want anything else. Not men, no money, not love, but the ability to act. With the art lights on me and the camera pointed at me, I suddenly knew myself, how clumsy, empty, uncultured I was. a sullen orphan with a goose egg for a head. In Hollywood, a girl's virtue is much less important than her hairdo. You're judged by how you look, not by what you are. Hollywood's place where they'll pay you $1,000 for a kiss and 50 cents for your soul. I know because I turned down the first offer often enough and held out for the 50 cents. After the premiere of How to Marry a Millionaire, I guess this is just about the happiest night of my life. Somehow it's like when I was a little girl and pretending wonderful things were happening to me. Now they are. It's funny how success makes so many people hate you. I wish it wasn't that way. It would be wonderful to enjoy success without seeing envy in the eyes of those around you. In Hollywood, millions and billions of dollars have been earned, but there is no monument or museum in sight. I do not consider your footprint at the front of Grauman's Chinese Theater a monument, although at the time it meant a lot to me. Nobody leaves anything in Hollywood. I am talking here about the people who made millions, not the ordinary laborers. I think I have one talent. I think it is observing. I hope that it adds up to acting. I hope to put it to good use. I don't feel as hopeless as I did. I don't know what it is. I read a little of Freud and might have to do with what he said. I think he was on the right track. I want to be a real actress instead of a superficial actress. Now for the first time I'm learning to use myself fully as an actress. I want to add something to what I had before. Some people thought that they were getting their money's worth when they saw me in the 7 year itch. But I want people to get even more for their money when they see me in the future. Only today a taxi driver said to me, "What did they put you in that little stinker, river of no return?" It was a good question. I'm with that taxi driver, he's my boy. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't accept river of no return today. I think I deserve a better deal than cowboy movie, than a Z cowboy movie, in which the acting finishes second to the scenery and the cinemascope process. The studio was cinemascope cautious. Then, that means that it was pushing the scenery instead of pushing actors and actresses. I disappear because if people won't listen to you, there's no point in talking to people. If they won't listen, you're just banging your head against a wall. If you can't do that, they want to do the thing is to leave. I never got a chance to learn anything in Hollywood. They worked me too fast. They rushed me from one picture into another. And I know who started all those stories which were sent out about me after I left Hollywood the last time. A big studio has much power with certain columnists and with the trade papers. One paper had an editorial about me that went something like this: Marilyn Monroe is a very stupid girl to give up all the wonderful things the movie industry has done for her. I go back to New York hoping to learn to act. Those weren't exactly the exact words of that editorial, but that was the idea. Well, if it was supposed to scare me, it didn't. When I read it, I realized that it wasn't frightening me. I felt strong. That's why I know it makes something in me happy to be late. People are waiting for me. People are eager to see me. I remember all these years I wasn't wanted. All the hundreds of times nobody wanted to see the little servant girl, no Jean, not even her mother. And I feel a queer sensation in punishing the people who are wanting me now. But it's not them I'm really punishing. It's the long ago people who didn't want Norma Jean. The later I am, the happier she grows. To me, it's remarkable that I get there at all. Marilyn's first and foremost concern was to become a serious actress, and she seemed both confused and resentful that Hollywood had built her up into a great sex symbol. I want to act. I really do. I had enough of all that Hollywood shit. I guess I looked pretty good, but there were so many girls out there who looked better. You should see it. It's like a beauty contest. I guess I was lucky for a while. They tell you to cry one tear, and if you feel two and therefore cry two, it's not good. If you change B to A in your lines, they correct you. An actress is not a machine, but they treat you like one, a money machine. I did what they said, and all it got me was a lot of abuse. Everyone's just laughing at me. I hate it. Big breasts, big ass, big deal. Can't I be anything else? Gee, how long can you be sexy? On January 7th, 1955, Marilyn Monroe and Milton Green formed her film company, Marilyn Monroe Inc. It was clear that she wanted to play other kinds of roles in other kinds of films. One of the films often named was The Brothers Karamazov. I want to do dramatic parts like the brothers Karamazov, but I don't want to play the brothers. I want to play Grushenka. She's a girl. It's not a temptation to me to do the same thing over and over. I want to keep growing as a person and as an actress. In Hollywood, they never ask my opinion. They just tell me what time to come to work. One of the things about leaving Hollywood and coming to New York and attending the actor's studio is that I feel I can afford to be more myself. After all, if I can't be myself, who can I be? I would like to know. When Marilyn Monroe was studied at the actor's studio, a great deal of speculation occurred as to whether a new Marilyn Monroe would appear. Marilyn Monroe herself wanted something to change in any event. It will be up to the public what I have to satisfy something inside of me too. That doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm going to play all main parts. No matter how much a person learns about being a better actress, a person isn't suddenly going to change and wear high necklace, long sleeve dresses and dye her hair black. I was inspired to study acting by seeing my own pictures. Recently, someone asked me, "What do you really want to do here in New York? What do you want to be?" And I said to him, "I want to be an artist." And he asked, "Do you mean that you want to paint?" It never occurred to him that I meant I wanted to become an artist in the theater. Marilyn Monroe was well known for always arriving on the set too late for her takes. I guess people think that what I'm late is some kind of arrogance, and I think it is the opposite of arrogance. I do want to be prepared when I get there to give a good performance, or wherever to the best of my ability. I don't think I am late. I don't think I'm as late as I used to be. And once I arrived at a cocktail party on time and nobody was there. So what are you supposed to do? Sit around? Of course, it's a good way to get acquainted with the hostess, but usually the hostess isn't ready either. Hostess isn't ready either. During the shooting of Some Like It Hot, Billy Wilder would sometimes say after a shot was in the can, certain actors do and redo the same scene, but they lose their spontaneity. But when I do it over again, I feel that I'm relaxing a little more, and that perhaps I'll dare go a bit further on the next try. I'm shy, and when you're shy, you can help it. I'll probably never be daring, and I don't know if I'll ever become a great actress. I have to find out how I work best, the best way to make the most of my acting, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. A lot of people get me there on time and do nothing, which I have seen them do. And all sit around and sort of chatting and talking trivia about their social life. Gable said about me, "When she's there, she's there. All of her is there. She's there to work." You read there was some actor that once said about me that kissing me was like kissing Hitler. Well, I think that's his problem. If I have to do intimate love scenes with somebody who really has this kind of feelings toward me, then my fantasy can come into play. In other words, out with him, in with my fantasy. He was never there. He only said that because I wore prettier dresses than he did. How do you fight anxiety? First of all, by concentrating on something else. At the method, it is called putting in order. Instead of thinking of what you're feeling when you meet someone, just notice the strange or interesting things about him. All you have to do is to direct your interest onto something other than yourself. Then saying nervousness shows sensitivity. I don't get great results by myself. I don't get great results myself, but enough I think to alter my relationship with others. When you act, it's the same thing. Instead of thinking I'm an old ham, I start asking myself, why is Gable looking at me that way? He must have his reasons, and so on. Marilyn deeply resented the dumb blonde image which had been wheeled up her. She frequently spoke out against it. Please don't make me a joke. In the interview with I Believe, I don't mind making jokes, but I don't like being looked at as one. I want to be an artist, an actress with integrity. My work is the only ground I've ever had to stand on. I seem to have a whole superstructure with no foundation, but I'm working on the foundation. Unlike Marilyn, Arthur Miller was a fan of both Bus Stop and The Prince and the Showgirl. I think Arthur secretly likes dumb blondes. Never had one before. Me, never help he is. Some help he is. Following the success of Some Like It Hot, in which she had given us an unsupportable performance as the perfect dumb blonde. That's it. I'm stuck. I'm a dumb blonde forever now. I'm ruining everything for myself. During the shooting of Let's Make Love, Marilyn kept a diary in which she made the following note. What am I afraid of? Why am I so afraid? Do I think I can act? I know I can't act, but I'm afraid. I'm afraid I should not be and I must not be. Fuck. About the script of Let's Make Love. It is ridiculous. All my movies are ridiculous. At least with Fox, that's why I want to get finished and then do exactly what I want. About her role in The Misfits, Marilyn said, I convinced them by throwing it a fit, not by explaining why it is wrong. I guess they thought I was too dumb to explain anything. So I have a fit, a screaming crazy fit. I mean nuts. And to think Arthur did this to me. He was supposed to write this for me. He could have written me anything, and he comes up with this. If that's what he thinks of me, well, then I'm not for him and he's not for me. Arthur knows how I feel about color. I'm gonna look awful. Gee, it's depressing enough as it is. Who would pay to see that? You would think with all the money they're paying for the stars and all they make in color, then at least it looked pretty. They're so stupid. Nobody would be in this movie, nobody, if it wasn't for the money. Arthur said it is his movie. I don't think he even wants me in it. It's all over. We have to stay with each other. We have to stay with each other because it would be bad for the film if we split up now. And I don't know how long I can put up with this. I think that Arthur's been complaining to Houston about everything he thinks is wrong with me, that I'm mental or something, and that's why Houston treats me like an idiot with his dear this and dear that. Why doesn't he? Why doesn't he treat me like a normal actress? I wish he'd give me the same attention that he gives to those bloody gambling machines in Reno because that's what he really enjoys. It's their film. It's about cowboys and horses. They don't need anything else. As for me, they don't need me at all. Not as an actress, only for the money. To be able to put my name on the film. To seduce people to come and spend their money to see another sex film about a dumb blonde. Well, it's not going to be that easy this time. During the shooting of Something's Got to Give, in which she played opposite Dean Martin, Marilyn Monroe was fired after all kinds of difficulties with the studio. In her own opinion, the difficulties only arose because she was ill. I struggle with shyness. Is in every actor more than anyone can imagine. I'm one of the world's most self-conscious people. I really have to struggle. An actor is not a machine, no matter how much they want to say you are. The executives can calls, get calls. The executives can get colds and stay home forever and phone in, but how dare you, the actor, get a cold or virus? I wish they had to act a comedy with a temperature and a virus infection. I'm not an actress who appears at the studio just for the purpose of discipline. It doesn't have anything to do with art. This is supposed to be an art form, not just manufacturing establishment. Well, this is the finished reading of Marilyn, and now would be the next chapter, Men. So, see you next time. We gonna show you the photos of acting moment here with Joe DiMaggio at the premiere of the 7-year itch. With Tom Ewell, with Buddy Alder, producer at 20th Century Fox, with Cary Grant and Charles Coburn in Monkey Business, signing her contract for Some Like It Hot with producer Walter Mirisch, and How to Marry a Millionaire with Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart, and the premiere of How to Marry a Millionaire. Robert Mitchum in River of No Return, in Bus Stop, studying at the Actors Studio, in Some Like It Hot, with Billy Wilder on the set of Some Like It Hot, with Arthur Miller, and Let's Make Love, when John Huston and Arthur Miller on the set of Misfits experienced that probably she didn't like, as we heard. Arthur Miller, and with Dean Martin in Something's Got to Give, movie where she was fired. And the next chapter, Man. Ooh. See you later.